And we're back with another update video. So good evening all. Uh, Hello my 28 subscribers. I guess the algorithm gods have blessed me another day. My esteemed gentlemen and gentlewomen. So thank you all for joining me on this discussion we will have this evening. So, of course, we get to start off. Perfect order. The set has dropped. It has already been deemed the mid set of the era, and prices have quickly come down for the cards themselves. While when I saw the set myself, I thought it was alright in some of the artworks, but I never saw it being that expensive overall. So, for all you people who rip, I really hope you get your hands on some product and really enjoy some of that nostalgia of ripping packs again at a reasonable price point. So enjoy to all those people, but personally, it's not the best Pokemon that I like. There's still some really good artwork in the set, but of course, I'll just pick up those singles later on. So now, getting into a little bit of the beef of the topic. So you might be thinking, investing overall in Pokemon sets, where the heck do you start? There's so many different options with specialty sets, vintage, main sets, booster bundles, ETBs, booster boxes, etc. It's always difficult to determine what is the best. And today I kind of wanted to go into a bit of my general thesis on what to choose in investing. Of course, you can buy anything that's available to you. You could buy any Pokemon in every Pokemon set, and you'll probably be okay. Most of Pokemon always goes up, but I always strive for, and we've kind of discussed that, buying the best tends to be much better than just buying anything. So if you can kind of determine over time which set will perform the best and or be most desirable in the future, that tends to outperform the others, and or you make a trade-off where it is more liquid. And I think a lot of people forget that product is difficult to sell. It is not easy to sell old product. You will either take a price chunk from the sale, so a percentage below the actual true market value when you're trying to sell. But if it's high liquidity, where lots of people want the product and see value in it, it's a lot easier to trade off for cash in the future. But you might be asking, what is the best set? And that tends to be one of the hardest things is how do you determine what the best set is in an era? As Mr. Pokemon put it, the best set is the one we believe in. So I would highly recommend a lot of this comes down to your own fruition of what you truly believe. You can ask lots of people and they'll all give you different answers at times. But one benefit is that a lot of these sets after a year is most likely the best time to buy some of these sets. So after we get a lot of different reprints, after the product has found its price point, it becomes much more easier for people to determine en masse which set will perform the best, the longest. So the best example I've seen is Sword and Shield. We had a huge amounts of reprints of booster boxes, and still Evolving Skies was the set that sat above MSRP and sat well above in price point. People were still buying it out even when it was available for around 120 a booster box. People were still buying that, and it didn't last long. It quickly went up to 160, $200, and so that became the dominant set. So there is signs you can look at to determine which set will be the best long term. Of course, in this market, it's always difficult to actually get product. I would highly recommend, if you're a small buyer like myself, I tend to just wait for a little bit of a reprint. So, like for example, GameStop, Target. You'll usually see Costco or Sam's Club when these huge amounts of product come to market. The price will drop maybe by 20 to 30% of people quickly offloading those, aka the scalpers, which, yes, it sucks at times to buy from scalpers and from these scalped prices. If you can find it yourself in stores, by all means, but that would be the best time to allocate product that you truly believe in. Now you might be saying, well, what is the safest set to invest in? So we have the Mega era, the SV era, and the Sword and Shield. I would still stick, if you want to be the safest, Sword and Shield Era is the best set to invest in. Recently, people have been talking about it. It's been kind of dead for the last couple months, and so it's bound to jump. The question on everyone's mind is when. Could be soon, could be in another 6 months. Who knows? That's always the guessing game. But Sword and Shield will be your safest from reprints or any other issues of high quantities. It still does have a large amount of quantity, but we have some great chase cards in the era um, that I still think are valuable to this day and match up to the hype of SV and Mega. So, the biggest challenge that I wanted to discuss a bit at the end here is how to determine what the best set is. So, going back to this idea of the best set is the one that we believe in. And how do you believe in a set? A big part of it is really hearing what the general masses are saying, getting some polling on the depth, the amount of cards. The pull rates is a good example of how to determine what's a good set, with also the price point of each individual card. So if you can combine a couple of these factors and signals that you're seeing from the market, you can usually choose the best sets to invest in long term. Now, the easiest way, of course, is if everyone says they want prismatic. I know a lot of people say you should look away from the crowd, but if you follow the crowd, as has been seen in this bull market, it tends to work. If everyone's saying they love prismatic, they love Destined Rivals, they love the Charizard from Phantasmal Flames, the price will tend to go up because people usually, while they say they like it, lots of people will more jump on. It's this Veblen good effect where as the price moves up, more people believe that the price should go up, and so they buy in, and so the price will go up. That granted largely works in a bull market. Will it work in a bear market? That's up for debate and most likely will not. But in this current bull market sentiment, if you follow the crowd, usually the crowd will work in your favor. And you can see that especially with Shrouded Fable. So, what are my top sets? I largely still recommend Prismatic 151 and Destined Rivals. Prismatic, the booster bundles are the way to go. 151, the booster bundles are good. The ETBs, if you can afford that, but they're already pretty quite high. So if anything, I would highly recommend trading in any product you have, not necessarily buying it outright for cash. But it's going to be a good hold long term if you have any already. And then Destined Rivals is the hot hitting set that is still very much in print, and so we most likely will get another booster box reprint. I'm crossing my fingers that we do. We should, but will we? Who knows? The booster bundles, of course, if you can find those in the store for lower prices, by all means, it'll be a good hold. It is one of those sets where I'm not particularly bullish on the set itself, but I'm bullish on the sentiment that people have for Destined Rivals. So that's at least my reasoning for some of these sets being the best that are at current price points that you can acquire. The best, of course, in Mega might be Phantasmal Flames and Ascended, if you can get them at lower price points. I still think they're a little hot. They're coming out of the gate hot for the amount that's most likely going to be printed, so I would hold off. But these ones at least are a year old and or approaching a year old, so I highly recommend. But anyways, the biggest benefit is if you go into some of these sets, if you follow the crowd of buying into what everyone's talking about, and let's say that set crashes, most often it's going to be the whole market crashing. So as long as you're following the general trend, it's okay. It will be fine if you're holding and you're holding long term. If all sets go up by 50% and you trade in for other product at the 50% increase in market, you technically didn't earn anything, versus if all sets crashed and you traded in for the best set that also crashed, it would be the same trade, you're just trading at lower values. So overall, some of these sets, if they crash, the whole market will most likely start to turn downwards, and so if you really don't believe in that product again, you can most likely trade off into other sets. But anyways, that's just my hot takes. I would definitely look at still some of the prismatic bundles. I know it's like a broken record over here. I'll try to get some more information on like some cards. Maybe I'll talk about some of the news we've been hearing about reprints or some of the drama. But anyways, I just wanted to thank you all. Thank my 28 subscribers total. And thank you to the YouTube algorithm for pushing this out. we'll, we'll see how it goes and enjoy the slop. Take care.